The sci-fi series Dune, or June, or however you're supposed to pronounce it, has been around for ages now. In fact, it's been exactly 60 years since the original novel was published back in 1965, which, according to OnThisDay.com, was also the same year that George Harrison had his tonsils removed. Anyway, because Dune Awakening launched recently, I was asked to do a video about the history of Dune games. Trouble is, I honestly don't give a toss about Dune. The recent movies were visually very nice in a this could have been a commercial for a really posh perfume kind of way, and I do like it when the soundtrack goes whoom every time you see a spaceship. But the story and the lore? Yeah, it's just some space religion nonsense about Paul Atreides looking for some Ben & Jerry's or something.
Because of her obedience to the Bene Gesserit, Lady Jessica is trained as a truth-sayer.
Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Dune games. So, back in the early 90s, 1992 to be exact, the first Dune game was released on Amiga and PC. By all accounts, it was a good game, an interesting mix of dungeon crawling and 4X strategy that loosely followed the plot of the book, with a few design cues being taken from David Lynch's movie. So, for example, Sting's character still kind of looks a bit like Sting, but only if the Skeksis from the Dark Crystal had got to him first and drained out all of his essence. Thankfully, they got Carl McLaughlin's likeness pretty much bang on, but I don't remember seeing this four-boobed leather bikini sporting dude anywhere, and I'm pretty sure I'd never forget a four-boobed dude in a leather bikini if I ever saw one. But anyway, the fact is, even though it was fine and good and played nice, no one really remembers that game. The only one everyone actually remembers, and the only Doom that I've actually played, was the absolute banger that is Dune II: Battle for Arrakis.
Dune.
Construction complete.
Dune II first released on PC in 1992, and yes, you heard that right, the original game and its sequel both came out in the same year. So pay attention, Rockstar, with your 13 years between GTA's 5 and 6, that is how you do it. Dune 2 is legendary for many reasons. The fact that it is considered to be the first mainstream modern real-time strategy game ever released is probably the main one, but for me and my friends, it's mostly because it kicked off at least a year of us saying "acknowledged" as a response to absolutely anything we were told at school.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Yes, acknowledged.
What an epic game though. I mean, I don't even like strategy games, but I liked this one, and I still have fond memories of sending little trikes out to remove the fog of war from the map, and directing harvester vehicles to hoover up the orange pixels that represented the game's spice fields. Oh, and hearing this voice saying,
"Construction complete,"
just now gave me the most insane, almost tangible feeling of nostalgia.
Yes, sir.
It was almost like I'd time-travelled back to the 90s, and, well, now I'm sad because it's not the 90s anymore, it's actually 2025, and, well, everything sucks here. In fact, it does feel a little bit like entering the 2000s was where everything in life went wrong. And this also includes video games based on Dune, because in 2001, Dune games got really weird.
Unit ready. Training.
But I'm jumping ahead a bit here because in 1998, the confusingly named Dune 2000 also came out. And it's confusingly named, dear viewer, because it was neither the year 2000 when it came out, nor was it the 2000th entry in the series. It was in fact a remake of 1992's Dune 2, complete with new graphics, new audio,
Construction complete.
and some brand new, super futuristic FMV cutscenes that starred everyone's favourite dwarf that you're not allowed to toss, John Rhys Davies.
Let me remind you, we are here to fight for the Duke.
For the Duke!
He's not the only famous actor to have appeared in Dune 2000's live-action cutscenes, though. Musetta Vanda, who plays Lady Alara here, also gives an absolutely iconic performance in everyone's favourite video game to movie adaptation, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, in which she plays Queen Sindel.
Brother, you're alive. Too bad you will die.
I honestly think that that might have been the best scene in any movie ever. Except for maybe this bit where she spins around a lot. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Dune. That's the second time I forgot now, which I guess tells you all you need to know about how much I care about Dune. Enter the 2000s, or more specifically 2001, and the weirdest year for Dune, which included the release of not one, not two, but 3 games all about Dune. Except actually it was only 2 games in the end, but more on that later.
Kill the enemy. Remember, the destiny of House Harkonnen is tied to Arrakis and the Spice Melange.
Emperor Battle for Dune released in June and was the sequel to Dune 2000, which, as you might remember, was itself a remake of the original sequel to Dune. Dune! Following the already established winning formula, Emperor Battle for Dune was yet another strategy game that also featured FMV cutscenes, although this time I guess they couldn't afford John Rhys-Davies because, well, he's not in it. We did get this dude who looks like a Ginger Sontaran from Doctor Who though, and Poundland Sting here, aka the Sting we've got at home, aka the Sting you ordered from Temu. Oh, and then there's this odd chap. Yes, he may have the best eyebrows I've ever seen in a video game ever, but there's literally no excuse for being that bad at putting on lipstick. I'm not going to kiss you with lippy like that, fella. Sorry.
At this point, it is best to call him Paul Atreides. The unknowing would say that his was a desperate plight, but the man who will become known as Muad'Dib has already begun to shape his fate.
Can you smell something strange?
That, Lady Jessica, is the stench of an absolute train wreck of a video game. One that was so weird and ultimately so unplayable that the development studio behind it went bankrupt and shut down shortly after its release, leaving only this mind-bogglingly bad game as its legacy. Frank Herbert's Dune from Cryo Interactive came out in November of 2001 and was based on the Sci-Fi Channel TV series of the same name. Now, I've not watched this series due to the aforementioned fact that I care not for Dune, but I hope to God whoever directed it wasn't the same person who directed the cutscenes in this game, because it is full of the most uncomfortable close-ups I have ever seen.
It wasn't metacyanide, but a slower working poison. The antidote is in my second gum jabar dose.
Jesus Christ! Someone kill whatever the hell that thing was, and do it quickly. The gameplay in this game is basically non-existent, with hugely exciting set pieces like waiting for ages by a doorway, running endlessly and awkwardly on sand, and moving 1 centimetre per hour as you try to avoid a hunter-killer, because if it sees you, it will insta-kill you and take you right back to the beginning of this incredibly annoying, unskippable section. However, nothing can prepare you for this, the adrenaline-soaked cinematic intensity of the game's final boss battle against Barry Harkonnen, or whatever his name is. Barry Harkonnen wasn't the only thing that got crushed by this god-awful game though. Cryo Interactive's self-implosion also took with it the third and final Dune game from 2001, Dune Generations. All that remains of it now is this super low-res gameplay demo that was released during the same month as Frank Herbert's Frank Herbert's Dune. Billed to be a 3D real-time strategy game that featured a permanent and massive multiplayer world that exists online, Dune Generations was canned as soon as Cryo filed for bankruptcy in 2002, leading to it being neither permanent, massive, nor indeed existing in any playable form. But wait! Because Dune Generations wasn't the only game to be killed by the Cryo crash of 2002. This one, however, is still playable, albeit with a different name entirely. Dune Ornithopter Assault for the Game Boy Advance was almost ready when the plug was pulled on development just before its release. Then in 2015, the final build of the game, minus the multiplayer modes, leaked onto the internets, and in 2021, a successful Kickstarter rehydrated the corpse of Ornithopter Assault and rebirthed it under the licensing deal-friendly name of Elland: The Crystal Wars. Elland is dangerously close to Bellend, but I'm gonna let that one slide.
Elland: The Crystal Wars is a Game Boy Advance game that was intended to come out in the early 2000s when it was cancelled right before its completion. Today we are bringing it back and giving it the release that it deserves.
Complete with a reworked intro to remove all the spicy Dune bits, get it? Elland is actually fully playable from start to finish, and somehow, even though I can't find footage of it online, this GIF that I found on the game's Kickstarter page seems to suggest that they even managed to get the ghost of Michael Jackson in for a role in a cutscene. And that, my friends, is about as weird as the history of Dune games gets, to be honest with you. Dune Spice Wars came out to resoundingly average reviews in 2022, and it brought the game series back to its real-time strategy roots, which was nice and fine, but nothing really worth shouting about. By all accounts though, this year's open-world survival game, Dune Awakening, seems to be going down a treat with its PC player base. There's a load of people playing it, it does something different with the property, whilst at the same time not just being a lazy studio-killing cash-in, and its developer Funcom is even planning to release it on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S in the future, which is nice. On the minor side though, it doesn't seem to have any of those cool noises from the films in it, and during my first 2 hours of playing, I still haven't had a sniff of any four-boobed dudes in leather bikinis, but I'll stick with it for now because, to be fair, it does look freaking awesome when a sandworm pops out of the sand right in front of your feet. Thanks for watching this video about the weird history of Dune games. If you enjoyed it, please do subscribe to Eurogamer for almost daily videos about video games, and if you'd like to watch the official Eurogamer review for Dune Awakening, you'll find it on screen and clickable right now. Right, I'm off to go and build some sandcastles or something because there's nothing else to do in this desert, so have a great rest of your day and I'll see you again soon. Or should that be, I'll see you again, Dune? And yes, this is a pair of pants around my neck. It's the best thing I could do on zero budget.